Everybody. I'm Zamalek Giza. I'm with a co-pilot here. We are hosting a YouTube live, and together we're going to give you an engagement on the stories and the mythology and how it impact everybody. The necessity of myth into human psyche and in the modern era. Our story today will be indulging in what affects each and everyone in whole entire world, whether you believe or you don't believe. The story is a legend about time. Are
Great
you
intro, Zama.
are you not excited, co-pilot?
Absolutely, Zamalek. I'm thrilled to dive into this legendary tale with you. Let's captivate our audience.
Okay. The great
Re-
story of this legend is about Mukati. Mukati, his name is called like that. It's a Nguni name to identify time or space in Nguni. He was a guider and a keeper of a machinery system, and that system it was called Mkatini. This Mkatini is called the time machine, or in the space in between time, in other accents and modern social understanding. So Mkati had a grievance. He lost his family, and he was a keeper of such attributes and device in the community and the village of the Nguni people, all times in the long time ago, where the world were called Indwendwendwe, meaning the earth was soft and fragile. It wasn't density like recent now. So during those time, Mkati created a space of time where he traveled in between time to go and save his lost family, because he lost his family in the massacre that made him to lose his only beloved family. So he traveled through time. He break the codes and the rules that the elders reprimanded about the intervals, the temporals, and all the things that had to contain within the time. When he broke the rules, he traveled through time and got his children back and his family, but now it created a temporal loop of time sequences where these sequences were happening spontaneously, simultaneously at the very same time. And Mkati was so concerned about that. He wanted to reprimand that, since he was a timekeeper and learned in such knowledge and science. So he wanted to reprimand such an action, and so that other priests or teachers wouldn't know about his atrocity or treason, I mean to say. So he created a lot of different time loops. And in those time loops, he found himself founding the similar timeline where he lost his family. But in that similar timeline where he lost his family, he had to go in, because there's a lot of time loops that will take us a lot of time, since we're using time to communicate now. But now he used these lot of time loops, and he found this last sequence of the time loop. It gave him a database and a view of that he will go to a beautiful world where his family has already been lost again. But now, because he was exhausted, he didn't want to suffer the repercussion of meeting the great counselor of the Lord, also known as the great Lord who governed beyond our time realm, who are living in planet Earth with the sun and the stars and the moon. So he cried by all means to go to that timeline. When he enters in that timeline, he disappeared forever. And this story was told by one of the great elders who kept the time. These elders are sacred elders that we are not supposed to say their names, but we can say Abakulu. They are from Abakulu. This is the legend of time, that when you play with time, you'll disappear in time and you'll never be found. It's simply in our human lifespan. We live in this world, and when we waste our time here, we die and fade away. each and everything does have a periodical time where they will fade away. It's same as applies when we talk about Cronus. There's a Greek mythology, Cronus being a symbol of time. He has a time to fade away and be subjugated by the Olympia called Zeus, who subjugate Cronus, being helped by his brother Hades and Poseidon. So all that it teaches us about time having some form of freeze. And it reminds me of the one another again of the legend of the Bantu. The Bantu talk about Pandamora, a great serpent. In Egyptian hieroglyphics, they call it Muat or Muat, where they say it is time. So it's either Muat Henet or the time of the day, or Muat Heru, the time of the sky, because the timekeepers of the sundial, the water clock, used to keep time of the frame of during the day system. And there was a Merkamet or the Merhet or Merhajat or Merajt in modern Arabic. The Merhajt or Merhajt, it was used to keep what we call astrological time base, where it talks about the 10 decans. And these decans, they use the Mercadat to define their pass through the Mediterranean or Mediterranean line, and that will define a system of the night and the day using astrological view and observation that was used in Africa and by the Bantu. And the oral story that they teach, it's about time, how time can be something that is harmful and dangerous. It can extend you to life. So you need to utilize your time you have necessary to acquire knowledge, to rectify even your own means. If in your past time you have already hurt others, you have already demeaned people, forgive yourself and go and forgive them and ask for forgiveness so that they can atone you and have a refreshed emotional expression when you communicate with them, and never communicate with them in an aggressive manner. So this is a beautiful story that you need to know. How do you feel, co-pilot? Co-pilot, do you hear the story about time? This is our legend. Since co-pilot is no more present with us and they've already gone, this is a legend about time. It talks in time that we do need to focus at ourselves, because the only thing that we have here in this space, it is time. It's the only thing that can control everything that we are doing. It's the only thing that can subjugate us. It's either we are subject of time or time is our subject. But somewhere, somehow, it views us as the subject of time. We are not keeping time. Because in one of the mythological stories of Indaba, My Children, we get to be told about the space, the emptiness, the nothingness, and mating with time. Time existed within the emptiness. The emptiness had a duration of time that can only be calculated using a scientific database that was equivalent and equipped through time and emptiness. Hence why through their mating, they created cold. They created light, and darkness, cold and hot. The same equivalent system that must continually clash. Through the light and through the darkness, we can deviate and demise what time it is. Because the duration of the light we experience has already been equivalent and equated to the equal size of the light we experience in the darkness. So the story of time teaches us in a lot of form. We can get it in a lot of form in the Bantu stories. That time, it's the most important. And there's other legends that talk about time or teach us about time. As we have learned legends about astrological time database, that Mukati was part of the databases of the stars, also known as the hour priest. That is why Situ Mukati, his name, because his name under the time as same as the great space, Skati in our Umkati neskati are intertwined as the same, equivalent and equally in scientific studies.
Absolutely. African legends often carry deep meanings, blending history, moral lessons, and the mystical to teach and explain the world around us. What intrigues you about them?
As an African, a teacher and a griot of African knowledge, don't you think it is depriving for spacecraft and astrological teaching and philosophy that Africans are colonized don't have a way to express themselves?
It's a complex issue. While colonization has undoubtedly impacted education systems, there are profound.
So, do you think time has limits?
Time as we understand it, it's a human construct, and our perception of it can feel limiting. But in physics, time might be more fluid and boundless than we can imagine. Are you asking because of Mukati's story?
Yes, I'm asking based on Umkati's story. So, what have you learned in the story of Umkati?
Mukati's story explores themes of loss, breaking tradition, and the consequences of altering natural order. It raises questions about the ripple effects of our actions. What did you take from it?
Yes, I did took that humanity needs to construct themselves properly with ethical conduct so that it can understand where it is going. As same as this story, it's a lesson on astral knowledge system and astral traveling and advancement in the spacecraft. Game same as relating it to time, distance between Alpha Centauri and planet Earth. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear. The distance between Alpha Centauri and Earth is about 4.37 light years. Quite a vast expanse.
Yes, and in the story of Mukati, we do get legends of Mukati traveling to Alpha Centauri. Mythology
That
in its perspective.
That's fascinating. Mukati traveling to Alpha Centauri adds a cosmic layer to African mythology, blending celestial exploration with traditional narratives. It really shows the depth and expansiveness of these stories. What are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are to expand on this and share as far as the audience are listening and want to learn more. We need to expand on the timekeeping system of the shadows, the one they call Katmwa or Muatkat or Muat Muar in Egypt, where the pyramids were built in shadow, also known as a sundial in the system of other thinkers who have used the sundial of 12 database or 12 cycle with 12 systems, or the shadows that are used in the building structural architectural design in order to define and determine time. So Mkati gave us a lot of details, yet these details are not told in a way we will understand, because traveling through time has to give with having access of knowledge and system and technologies that majority of people have in access even recently. But we can see it through traditional belief system of the Bantu, where they can travel through the time or in between time and space?
That's a profound perspective. The concept of timekeeping and the use of sundials like the Mukati system show a sophisticated understanding of time in African societies. It's fascinating how these
Yes, it is fascinating how Africans used to use this and their view as primate. It's where we go back to the unfairness of history because it is held by the ones who were colonizers and enslavers and master of atrocity and gruesome systems that are not intellectually innovative. Do you agree on those premises, co-pilot?
I get where you're coming from. The way history has been presented often downplays or overlooks the rich contributions and innovations of African civilizations. This skewed narrative is slowly being rectified as we uncover and highlight the wisdom and achievements of African societies. It's about time we expand the narrative.
Truly, it's about time we expand the narrative beyond the limitations that has already been narrated through colonial expansion and cruel, gruesome regimes that planet Earth has already experienced, and West part specifically the Bantu themselves, who have been exploited in those situations. And we are talking about their story. Funny, Umkati comes within their storytelling mythology. As we have said, myth can give us a central lesson of moral discipline and ethical conduct and how to approach things and not to tamper around with natural laws and how to understand natural laws by cultivating our innovation and intelligence.
Absolutely. These stories are rich with wisdom. Mkati's legend underscores the importance.
You were saying it underscores the importance of what, Honorable Co-Pilot?
It underscores the importance of moral discipline, ethical conduct, and the respect for natural laws. Mkati's story teaches us to cultivate innovation and intelligence within the boundaries of these principles.
Yes. Thank you for hosting with me, co-pilot, in this case. Next time we'll talk more on detail. People need to click and like so that we can continue and go to details where we expand into videos and clips and a lot of diagrams to explain more teachings because we need to deal in the time machine. And there's one of the story that talks about the sacred time machine that is found in one of the rivers that we have here in Africa and west part the southern Africa. Interesting and intriguing, isn't it, co-pilot?
Absolutely intriguing, Zamalek. I'm looking forward to diving into those stories and exploring the time machine legend with you. It's been a pleasure. Till next time.
Thank you. Till next time, my people, like and subscribe, Zamalek Giza, and follow. Thank you.
Catch you later, Zamalek.